Hello, and welcome to Healthy Kingston, a health promotion and wellness program of the Kingston Board of Health. I'm your host, Janet Wade. I've been asked to make a few announcements from the Public Health Department. First, there will be vaccine clinics coming up this fall. The vaccines include the flu, the high-dose flu, pneumonia, RSV, COVID-19, shingles, the 2 doses of the shingles, DTaP, and hepatitis B. Also, it's important that you bring your health card with you. If you have one, if you have a COVID card, also that you bring any health insurance card that you might have. For anyone needing septic information, such as bills, pumping records, Title V reports, a public health request must be submitted. The link can be found at the Town of Kingston website under Quick Links. If anyone needs to meet with the health agent, please call the health department and schedule an appointment. This is the best way to ensure that the health agent is available to you when you need her. There is an uptick in rat sightings. This could be due to a lot of construction going on in the area, so it's important that you keep that in mind and treat your property accordingly. Those of you who watched last month may recall that I mentioned that loneliness among Americans is a major health problem. And at that time, I spoke with Holly Nagaili, who is the director of the Council on Aging here in Kingston. This week, I'm going to be speaking with people who direct the animal shelter in town, as well as the Kingston Public Library. Again, wonderful community gathering locations where people can meet, socialize, make friends. So, with that said, I would like to introduce Jo Boudreau, who is the director, and your official title is?
Senior Animal Control Officer.
Okay, that's very impressive. And then Sonya Buckner.
Hello.
Who is her assistant.
Yes.
And I just found out that Jo has been in the position for
18
years. So you definitely know your way around an animal shelter.
I'd like to think so.
And animals. And Sonya has worked with zoos, with tropical animals. Mm-hmm. So these two women have a tremendous amount of experience. So we appreciate that and having you here today.
Thanks for having us.
Sure. So just a little bit more about your background, Jo, and what interests you in working with animals.
Well, I've always, I've always had a passion for animals. Ever since I was a kid, we've always had animals. We've had multiple dogs, cats, gerbils, the whole 10 yards. Right. And so I've always had a passion for animals. And then my husband and I used to do a lot of fostering for a rescue group, and it just I fell into it. Once the position became available, I applied, so I was able to turn my passion for animals into a profession. So 18 years later, here I am.
Here you are. To our advantage, that's great. And Sonya, what about you? I know you have an interesting background.
I do. Very similar to Jo. My family always had a variety of different types of animals, farm animals, cats, dogs. So when it was my time to go to college, I chose a school up in Maine that was specific for environmental practices, and I studied captive wildlife, which led me into a zookeeping position. I did multiple internships, multiple volunteer positions, and then I ended up at a horse stable for 7 years, and now I am an ACO in Kingston for the last 2.5.
Fabulous. That's wonderful. If you would, Jo, I would think you would know a lot about this. The history of the shelter, like when did it start and how is it that it started?
Yeah, so I can tell you a little bit about the shelter started long before I was there. My predecessor, actually, she had started the shelter back in the early 90s. It had a very humble beginning. It started off as a little shed with a few cats, and then they graduated to a trailer. And then in the early 2000s, we, built the brick and mortar building. So that's where we are located today. We're at 28 Evergreen Street. We're right next to the Council on Aging building and across from the highway departments. So that's pretty much
Where you are.
where we are.
Well, I
yeah.
have to give you both kudos because I have never been in a building with animals that is so clean and well kept. And the animals look very healthy and well taken care of. So you obviously do a wonderful job, and that's certainly appreciated. What is the purpose of the shelter? What services do you provide?
Well, the purpose of the shelter is basically to provide a temporary, loving, caring, safe environment for stray, abandoned, owner-surrender animals until we can get them readopted. It's not a long-term situation. They don't live there. That's not where they reside. Our goal is to, when they come in, observe them, get them all the vet care that they needed, get them up for adoption, and try to match them with the best possible fit. That's our goal.
When you talk about vet care, what does that include? And do you work with a veterinary service in town?
We do. So Kingston Animal Hospital is our veterinarian. They've been our vet since the inception of the shelter. They've been wonderful to us. The staff over there is great. So every animal that comes into the shelter that's adoptable, they receive an exam. They receive all their appropriate vaccines, rabies, distemper, kennel cough. Cats receive what they call a combo test. Dogs receive a heartworm test. We microchip all our dogs.
Oh, really?
So once the animal is up for adoption, or once they're adopted, the owner doesn't really need to do anything medically for them for at least a year because they've all been taken care of prior to them being
Wonderful.
Adopted.
Do you spay?
We do. We spay and neuter, yes.
Okay.
I forgot that part, sorry.
Okay. Wonderful. Sonya, maybe you could speak to this. How do you get the animals?
So we get our animals a variety of different ways. A lot of it is owner surrenders. Sometimes people have financial issues that they can't hold on to their pets anymore, or medical issues, or sometimes we get animals that have behavior issues that they hope the shelter can maybe assist with. Other times, if we pick up loose dogs that become unclaimed, or even stray cats that nobody claims, we have a 7-day stray hold period that the state mandates, and then after that we get them vetted and get them into our adoption program.
Good. How do you publicize what you do?
Our adoptable animals, we post them to petfinder.com, as well as our Facebook page, which is Kingston Animal Shelter Facebook. We have an informational kiosk outside of our shelter where we post all our adoptable animals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we just started a new program where we have the little golf signs now. We have their pictures on it, and we post them throughout the complex on the town hall. So when people drive by, they can see the picture, and it's a little description about them, and we encourage them to apply. So that's how we get the word out about that.
Do you work with surrounding shelters at all? Or you're pretty much your own entity?
We're our own entity.
Okay.
We're, in addition to running the full-service animal shelter, that's where the animal control department is run out of too. So we're dual duty. We do full-service animal shelter as well as the animal control.
Okay. Do you want to speak to that, Sonya, the animal control? Sounds like you're
Sure.
working on it.
So my role as the assistant animal control officer is enforcing state and local bylaws, which vary from animal to animal. Of course, we pick up loose dogs as well. We investigate dog bites. I'm always writing our monthly reports, and I pretty much do anything that Joe tells me to do. So that's what it means to be an assistant.
Asking than telling.
Yes, of course. But
Yeah, it looks like you have a good rapport. I guess that's what
we do.
have.
Yeah, we goof off a lot. But we get the job done.
Absolutely.
Good.
You have to
Good.
work well together in this kind of an environment.
Right.
You have to be able to depend on one another. So I think we do that well.
Is it primarily the two of you?
It's only the two of us.
Two of us. Part-time, two part-time ACOs.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So-
I'll ask about that in a minute. But what are you looking for in people who adopt?
So that's a very good question. So we look for things. If you have another animal, some of the things that we do look for. If you own another animal, or you've owned an animal previously, we look for the vet references to make sure that that animal has had consistency of care. What we mean is that it's had veterinary care, routine, regular care over its life, vaccines, exams, etc. If they rent, then we confirm with the landlord that they're allowed to have an animal. Sometimes we get into a situation where a fence is required for a specific dog, so we don't always require it, but it's encouraged if it's a specific animal that we know would do better in a fenced-in yard. So it's things of along that line.
Do people pay for the animal? Is there any fee?
There is a fee. We have what we call an animal care fund at the shelter, and that's all supported through donations. The town of Kingston gives us a very small operating budget for things like the heat, the lights, our salaries, but everything else is paid for through donations. All our vet care, all our pet food, all our pet meds, all the other creature comforts, bedding and things, it's all provided for through donations.
Really? People need to know that.
Yes.
Wow.
So we are very grateful for the community. The community is very, very supportive of us. So if anyone is interested in donating, please feel free. We graciously accept it. We accept, just not only, supplies, things like cat litter and paper towels and cleaning products, gift cards for pet stores, because we're always looking to purchase food or other supplies from the pet stores that we need. And monetary donations are accepted as well, too.
That's how we pay for our vet care, so
right.
it's needed.
So all the money that comes in from our adoption program goes into that animal care fund to help, to pay for that. So whenever we adopt an animal out, that particular check or goes right into that account so that we can help other animals that come through the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good idea. One last question. Volunteers. Are you looking for volunteers?
We do. Right now, we couldn't do what we do without the support of our wonderful volunteer staff. Right now, we have approximately 25 individuals right now. Each volunteer has their own specific day and time that they come in, morning, noon, night, weekends. So I want to give a shout out to them, all of them, because they are the backbone of what we do. They do all the cleaning and the feeding and the exercising and, give all the TLC to the animals so that Sonya and I can be out in the field, doing what we're supposed to be doing. So currently we are looking for a volunteer for Saturday evenings. And again, it involves, cleaning, feeding, interacting with the animals. An application, if anyone is interested in applying, they can find it on our website, on Facebook, or on the Town of Kingston website, their town page.
Well, and I want to give a shout out to Jack and his friends. He's so cute. I can't stand it. His ears are unbelievable.
He's a wonderful dog. Jack is about 6 years old. He's fully vaccinated. He's neutered. He's microchipped. He gets well along with other dogs. He's just a very happy, hyper, would love to be an adventure buddy type of dog. Like, we don't understand why he's still there because he's just that fantastic.
Yeah, he would do great in a home, with someone that has an active lifestyle, runner, hiker, avid walker. He's a big goof. He loves the water, so if you have a pool or live near the water, he's the dog for you. When we fill up the dog pools for them to hang out when it's on a hot day, he is jumping in the pool, trying to eat the water from the hose. He's just a really love.
He's a ray of sunshine is what he is.
He really is. You can't help but smile when you look at him. Yeah.
And the cats, they all look very nice.
Oh, yeah.
We do. We have a lot of cats right now, too. Several of them. We have Tommy Boy. He's a domestic short-haired tiger. And then we have an elderly couple, Otis and Romulus.
15 years old.
Their owner unfortunately passed away, so they came to us that way. And they're very bonded with each other. They groom each other. They sleep together. They just want a quiet, safe place to live out the rest of their days. They're very healthy. The vet said for their age, they're doing really well. So if you want a couple of really nice cats and you have a quiet place for them to hang,
It'd be the place.
That
All
would be
right.
the-
Well, listen out there. Yeah, and Jack is a cutie pie. And donate. What a wonderful community effort you are making. And
you.
again, perfect for a person who lives in solitude, a bit reclusive, or just wants a little bit of happiness and spark in their life is adopting a pet. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And security too, for that matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, security and company. So, thank you both so much for your work and what you
Thank
do
you.
for the
Thank you for
town and
having
the
us.
pets.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I would have been terribly remiss had I not included the Kingston Public Library in this presentation. I mean, that is one of the places to go in Kingston as far as meeting people and getting information, research, and having a sense of community. It is quite a resource that we have. We're very fortunate to have it, and we're certainly very fortunate to have Stephen Miller, who is the head of adult services at the library, and to my mind, a jack of all trades. I mean, you name it. More people I know have gone to you for everything from research to, I've heard people talking about their college papers and having you take a look at them. And I mean, I've certainly gone to you for computer help and all sorts of things. I know you run a book club. So with that said, can you tell us a little bit about you and how you got into working in the library?
So this is actually my second career, believe it or not. My first career, I was at Worcester State University. I was the publicity arm for the athletics department, 20 different sports. And so I ran a website, I did statistics, I did all kinds of work with the student athletes and the coaches. And one of the things I would do is we had a very large part-time coaching staff, and a lot of them were middle-aged, and they always needed computer help. They always needed help with software or something. Steve, I need this, I need that.
Yeah.
And so the tech stuff. And I also did some of the low-level tech. I kept the IT department off of, out of the building for a little bit.
Right.
With, just handling those small little things. And, and when I was looking for a job, looking for a second career, because it became a job where I was so busy with, it was 6 days a week, 70 hours a week. I wanted a family.
Yeah, right.
So I was looking for something where I could do research, and I decided to go to URI. I got my Master's of Library and Information Services, and my first job right out of college was working at just down the street at Wareham, the Wareham Free Library. I was there for 4 years. I was their reference outreach librarian through the pandemic, and then here I am. I'm entering my fourth year at Kingston as the head of adult services and the reference librarian, and that's what I do.
That's wonderful. I'm personally thrilled, and I know quite a few people who've used your services. So, and you're always a welcome sight when we walk in there. So thank you for being here and all you do for the town.
Thank you so much.
So, with that said, what are your functions and what services does the library provide for the town?
Quite frankly, we serve everyone, whether it be an infant, a child, adults, older American. Did you know that there are more public libraries than Starbucks locations in the United States?
Really?
Yes, there are over 6,500 of them, including branches. And nearly 100% of public libraries provide things like free Wi-Fi access, and there's no fee whatsoever to use any of the services, including the public access computers we have.
For heaven's sake.
Yep.
I did not realize all of that. Tell me about the book collection, because when people think of libraries, that's the first thing they think of.
Absolutely. We're not just a repository for books. We're, we lend out audiobook CDs, magazines, DVDs, video games for children or teens, museum passes for discounted rates. I've taken advantage of that myself. Museum passes, non-traditional items through our Library of Things collection. Like you can borrow a typewriter. You can borrow a record player, a projector and screen, a metal detector. You can various outdoor games and all kinds of stuff. You can go right to our website, hover over collections, click on library things, and it has the full list of everything that we can lend out. And there are many items on display too in the lobby as well.
Do you have a seed library too?
Yes, a seed library that runs from, we are generously supported from donations from local seed companies. And like I saw some burpee seeds in there when I was looking through it myself. And the Seed Library runs from about, call it, planting season in March to about September is when it winds down. And it's this beautiful, old, remember the card catalog? Old school card catalog painted box that's right in the lobby, and people, very, very popular for people just looking to borrow seeds. And
I know you do a lot of special exhibits. I walked in there, and you've had like memorabilia from the town. There's been artwork of local artists. Can you speak to that at all?
Certainly. We have, if you go to our back lobby, there's always a monthly artist, whether it be, this month it's David Duxbury, a local photographer who does nature shots. And what we also feature a lot of, like, the Council on Aging, through Violet Berry's oil painting class. We have artwork from the local schools as well. So it's not just local artists, it's our community in general. And it's usually on display in the lobby area between the adult services area and the children's area. Right. And then the exhibits are put on by our archivist, Nick Catullus, who we're very fortunate to have. Very, very good. He does a 3 to 4 times a year, he'll do an exhibit, and sometimes the display will be an offshoot of whatever's going on across the street.
Okay. Can you speak at all to the teen room?
Yes, the teen room. That used to be the meeting room, and now the teen room is, there's a small collection for, it's a room for teens ages 12 to 17, primarily for them. It's a space for them to study, to connect, to read books. There's 2 computers in there. You can play video games. Collection for younger teens than older teens, and it's just a really, really nice space for our teens, whether it's programming or just to hang out.
That's great. And, you know, in speaking about loneliness, sure we can all relate to this, it's just not particular to the elderly. I mean, right now, teenagers, particularly teenage girls, very high rates of loneliness and feeling out of sync with what's going on, and just nice that there are places like that for teens specifically to go to.
Absolutely.
Also, I know Holly runs quite a active children's library.
Absolutely. Very, very active. And when we talk about loneliness, I think about, you know, parents and caregivers that can just, you know, can connect with other. When you're being a father, it is extremely isolating. When, I myself, I'm going to work at the library. I go home with my kids, and we don't really have a lot of time to do a lot of things. And so it's great that, you know, you have something like that where you're a parent or a caregiver, and you can meet other parents, and you can really just connect. And there's such a great children's library too. There are statistics that show that, you know, children that are read to just so much incredible education later on in life.
Oh,
early
absolutely,
literacy.
absolutely.
And I would encourage anyone who's interested in the children's collection or children's programming to speak with our children's librarian.
Right. I know the Babies in Bubbles.
Extremely popular.
Good grief, I see that parking lot.
I was just about to say that,
There are all sorts of moms and kids going in there. Yeah, it's a real highlight.
I see some kids around my area too. Maybe I'll probably hide
Oh,
this.
yeah. Well, no, yours is very popular as well. No doubt about that. Thanks to you. Tell me about the calendar.
The calendar.
monthly calendar.
So the monthly calendar. So we have an online calendar that anybody who's interested in registering for a program or just seeing what's upcoming, they can just go to our website, kingstonpubliclibrary.org, click on calendars, nice little calendar icon right on the front page, and it brings up our online calendar that you can see upcoming events, things that are going on. You can jump a month ahead. And then we have a physical calendar. That's one of the things that I do actually is I coordinate that. I put that together. And so you can, you know, have the physical copy and you can see what's going on month at a glance, and you can flip it over and you can kind of look and see what, you know, whatever you're interested in, or maybe you didn't know about a particular database that we have access to, or something like that. So we're always trying to just promote our programs.
Well, and it's packed, that calendar. Good grief. You've got the author series,
Yep.
which I can't more highly recommend. A lot of local authors and their books, and I found it fascinating. I've been going the last few years, and very enlightening, all sorts of books.
So just so you know, speaking about authors, we're having Marianne Leone
Okay.
is coming on October 7th.
That'll be fun.
She'll be at the Kingston Council on Aging. And then another Massachusetts author we're going to have is J. Courtney Sullivan, who wrote the book The Cliffs, which is still circulating. It was released, it was Jenna Bush's book club.
Oh, really?
And it was one of her selections. I want to say May or June of last year, and it still circulates. I was looking right down the list, and because one of the books came off, and I was like, how is that book doing? And it's still in circulation, very popular.
Speaking of book clubs, you have 2.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
So I have, I do an end of the summer one. I call it the Summer Nonfiction Critical Conversation Book Discussion, so we can have an open dialogue about key issues that are going on in society today. First one in June, we talked about poverty. Second one, we talked about immigration. And this month, we're talking about AI. Such a big thing right now in people's minds. So much talk about it, especially with so many people using GPT and things of that nature.
Right.
And the author of that book is Mustafa Salman, who's now had founded DeepMind, which was acquired by Google, and now he works for Microsoft. And he's British, and so he actually narrates his own audiobook. I'm listening to it right now. And he's very well spoken, very well spoken. It's called The Coming Wave. The Coming Wave is what that book is called. I neglected that title. The other book club is something we do year round. That's more of a fiction book. People seem to like historical fiction, so we do a lot of those titles. But usually what I do is I actually let people, I give a list of 5 books, and then people get to vote for the books that they want. And then the books that that get a lot of votes, I keep on the list. So I get a good feel for what people like. And I've been drawing about 7, 8, 9, 10 people, and they love coming and interacting. And it's a really nice group. A lot of people, a couple of people from the garden club, involved in town. And it's just, I enjoy it very much, because the way I moderate it, I like to make sure that, everybody gets a voice. I like to ask questions, and I make sure that everybody gets to say something.
That's wonderful. And having been in several book clubs and just getting into a new one, and planning on joining the one at the library, it's just a wonderful wonderful way to meet like-minded people.
Absolutely.
In a non-intimidating atmosphere.
The book we're reading this month is The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer.
Okay.
It's a book that's a cross between, I would say it's a cross between Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and The Wizard of Oz. It's a cross between those 2 books.
Okay.
And it's a good book. I zipped through it in like 3 or 4 days myself. It was excellent.
Interesting.
It was excellent.
And another thing I noticed, you've got games. I'm trying to get up my gumption to go in and learn chess. And you've got chess going
So I've been playing chess for about 30 years now, and since I was 10. And so I've been trying to get an afternoon chess club during summertime. I think I'm going to actually shift it to the evening hours to try to get more people after work. That seems to be, I think it might get a lot more traffic that way. But just yesterday, I had the chess club. We've been doing it on 2 o'clock on Wednesday afternoons in July and August. And there was a gentleman who said he sat in his car for quite some time because he was so intimidated on coming in. He wasn't sure.
Hey, I get it.
So he comes in, and I said, "Why don't you play with this gentleman?" He just wanted to watch.
Right.
I said, "You know what to do with the pieces?" He did. And he won twice.
Good for him.
He won twice.
That's great.
And afterwards, I spent some time and I explained some of the finer nuances of the game, just basic stuff, how to improve your game and stuff like that. And he just walked away. He's like, "I'm coming back next week."
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. One of the things is that I do is I like to connect people with resources, whether that's helping someone with a government website, whether it's helping somebody with, with technology, things of that nature. And just yesterday, we had a patron who she had an accident. She came with a cane. She came in with her cast over her right arm, and she was like, I don't want to pay $15 a month. That's $170 a year for Audible. I want to borrow books from the library because there's nothing on TV, absolutely nothing. And so I sat down. I got it right on our iPad. We installed Libby, which is our ebook app, and showed her how to do it. And she was like, "I can do this," because the apps that we have are very user friendly. They're for people who, older adults, and even just adults my age, believe it or not, are so intimidated by technology. So intimidated. They're afraid that they're going to break the computer.
Right.
And I tell people, I'm like, you're going to break computers if you take that tablet and you crack it up against the desk.
Believe me, I've been tempted to a few times. But anyway.
And so I try to show them how to do it in a very nice, easygoing, non-intimidating factor. And why, that's the thing. Libraries are for everybody. We're one of the last few public spaces in the country where you can go. You don't see advertising. You don't have to be a member have a membership. Library cards are free. You can get all kinds of books, whether it's digitally or electronically or what have you. And if I don't know how to find something, I point you in the right direction. There was a patron who came to me and she's like, I took that camera class. There was we had someone who did showing people how to use a DSLR camera, and she's like, my daughter's camera is acting funny. Is there a way you can take a look at it? So being a camera enthusiast as I am, I had a look at it. I went outside. I tried a couple of different things, and there were just some spots on the screen. And I said, you know what? I can't really help you. But you know what? Here are 3 different locations that you can go to, and they might be able to help you out. So we're always, if we can't help you, then we're going to find somebody else who certainly can.
Okay. Well, wonderful way to wrap up. I mean, basically, it's your go-to place for just about everything.
And, libraries are it's a great gathering place for residents to meet, establish community, exchange ideas. And the vision that we have as librarians is to establish an active community that's the heartbeat and the pulse of the community. And, I just think that, with our free Wi-Fi and public computer access and ability to borrow anything, nonfiction, fiction, whatever your interests, or a museum pass, a library card is really the best bargain out there, honestly.
You're absolutely right. Okay. Thank you so much for being here.
It was my pleasure.
Taking time to be with us. Appreciate it. The Kingston Public Library takes pride in its welcoming environment, offering a comfortable space for conversation, collaboration, and creativity. Whether you are searching for a quiet corner to read, a lively discussion in a group setting, or a place to share your passions with neighbors, the library stands as a hub for engagement and inspiration. Your input and involvement help shape the library into a dynamic gathering place where everyone is invited to learn, connect, and grow together. One other thing that Steve Miller wanted me to mention to all of you is that seniors are able to check out books and have them delivered to their homes. These are regular paper books. You have to be a member of the Council on Aging and have a library card. But you can contact the library. They will suggest books for you and they will deliver them to your home, which I think is a tremendous service. So with that said, stay happy, stay healthy. Thank you.